To be human is not a fact, but a task. Confidence is the present tense of hope. The more silent you are, the more you are able to hear. It is not the path which is difficulty, rather, it is the difficulty which is the path. If you don't have many friends, that means you have a lot of life experience. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. The highest, after all, is not to comprehend the highest, but to do it. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. The response to criticism is to smile and forget. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. What distinguishes all love from lust is the fact that it bears an impression of eternity. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Learn not to tell anything to anyone, because only then your life will definitely get better. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. I opened my eyes and saw the real world, and I began to laugh, and I haven't stopped since. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. Faith begins precisely where thinking leaves off. Do it or don't do it. You will regret both. Be that self that one is. Knowledge is a wealth that cannot be stolen. You become what you understand. Once you label me, you negate me. For it is not what happens to me that makes me great, but it is what I do. To dare to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. Faith is the highest passion in a man. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. Our life is a game whose rules we don't know. It is better to try something and fail than to try nothing and succeed. The result may be the same, but you won't be. We always grow more through defeats than victories. Sleeping is the height of genius. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. To be a woman is something so strange, so confusing, and so complicated that only a woman could put up with it. Many of us pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that we hurry past it. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. It is so hard to believe because it is so hard to obey. Far from idleness being the root of all evil, it is rather the only true good. The doors to happiness opens outward. Life has its own hidden forces, which you can only discover by living. Take a chance, and you may lose. Take not a chance, and you have lost already. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. It is better to get lost in the passion than to lose the passion. It is impossible to exist without passion. Whoever has learned to be anxious in the right way has learned the ultimate. For without risk, there is no faith, and the greater the risk, the greater the faith. We pretend to be unable to understand life because we know very well that the minute we understand, we are obliged to act accordingly. Man always hopes for what he should remember, and forever remembers what he should hope for. What is youth? A dream. What is love? The dream is content. The self-assured believer is a greater sinner in the eyes of God than the troubled disbeliever. To be lost in spiritlessness is the most terrible thing of all. Leap of faith, yes, but only after reflection. The only intelligent, tactical response to life's horror is to laugh defiantly at it. The thing that cowardice fears most is decision. My standpoint is armed neutrality. The unhappy is a person never present to themselves, because they always live in the past or the future. Only the noble of heart are called to difficulty. Wherever there is a crowd, there is untruth. If you want to be loathsome to God, just run with the herd. Why bother remembering a past that cannot be made into a present? The more people who believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. The person who's right often has to stand alone. The question is not to be or not to be. It is what we should be until we are not. Therefore do not deceive yourself. Of all deceivers, fear most yourself. The truth is a trap. You cannot get it without it getting you. You cannot get the truth by capturing it, only by its capturing you. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. On the secretly blushing cheek is reflected the glow of the heart. Cultivate the will. This is the armor that preserves the mind. Our life always expressed the result of our dominant thoughts. Hope is a passion for the possible. Happiness is the greatest hiding place for despair. Once you are born in this world, you're old enough to die. It is very important in life to know when your cue comes. In order to help another effectively, you must understand what he understands. Instruction begins when you put yourself in his place, so that you may understand what he understands, and in the way he understands it. My sorrow is my castle. Take away the paradox from the thinker, and you have a professor. A no does not hide anything, but a yes very easily becomes a deception. If I could prescribe only one remedy for all the ills of the modern world, I would prescribe silence.